Thank you for joining me today for another short word of encouragement. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to do so. This is the third part of a three-part series entitled Godly Communication. Our thematic text is taken from James chapter 1 verse 19, which reads in the King James Version, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." Our theme for today is entitled Faith Enough to Leave Vengeance to God. Our thematic text is taken from the three words slow to wrath. Now, I love the fact that James does not say to never get angry. I love the fact because we all get angry. I love that fact because life throws us a curveball and there's some things that happen and we don't understand and we can't explain. There are times when we all get angry. So he doesn't say to never get angry. He tells us to be slow to wrath. In essence, what he's telling us is take time to pause. Take time to push aside unsanctified emotions. Take time to think your words through before you speak. Take time to cool down just a minute before you speak out of anger. Then when you take time to pause, when you take time to think before you speak, you can do as it says in Ephesians 4:26 in the A clause. It says, in your anger, do not sin. Meaning that you can be angry, which is not a sin. It only becomes a sin when you say unwholesome, evil, nasty things to people. When you curse at people, when you call people out of their name, that's when it becomes a sin. That's when you need to pause. Ephesians 4:29 tells us, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of our mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. When we speak, no matter what the situation is, our objective is supposed to be, from a Christian perspective, our objective is supposed to be to build up the other person. Our objective from a Christian perspective is to say what they need to hear, in love that is, never seeking our own vengeance. When we seek our own vengeance, once again, what we're saying is, God, I got this. I don't need any help from you. It's showing a total lack of faith. Not only is it showing a lack of faith, but James explains to us in James 1:20 that the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. When we seek vengeance, when we exhibit anger, sinful anger towards one another, it does not build up our Christian testimony. Have you ever said something to somebody and they say to you, I can't believe you said that, and you call yourself a Christian? What they were saying to you is, whatever you said did not to reveal the righteousness of God in you. Doesn't mean that the righteousness of God is not in you, but it's saying that your actions did not reveal that you trust and believe that God was in control, and therefore your words were contrary to anything God would want you to say. James in these three words are telling us that the bottom line is, we as Christians, even in the midst of our anger, have to trust that God is in control. That's what he's saying. Because even in our anger, we are still ambassadors for Christ. Even in our anger, we're supposed to still show the righteousness of God. Even in our anger, we're supposed to still show that we have faith in God and that we're trusting and believing that he's working things out to our good. The question on the floor is, do you have enough faith to leave vengeance to God? Do you have enough faith to believe that even in the midst of your fussing and cussing, that God has not forgotten you, that God has not forsaken you, that even in the midst of all that craziness, God still knows where you are and he still knows what you're going through? Romans 12:1 says, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. When we are slow to wrath, when we pause, when we allow that situation to be governed and guided by the Holy Spirit, what we're saying is, I trust God. I'm willing to leave the vengeance to Him. I trust and believe that even in this situation, God has a hand in it. My friends, do you have enough faith to believe that? Do you have enough faith to believe that God will? Well, this is the funny thing about it. We can believe that God will get vengeance for us. Our problem is His vengeance is typically too slow for us. We want immediate vengeance, so therefore there are times when we try to take things in our own hands. I'm asking you today, if you would have faith enough to leave vengeance to God. Have faith enough to believe that if you'll take your hand off the situation, if you'll take your hand and allow God's hand to control and manipulate the situation, God has a way of working things out so much better than we could ever work out. And all of our fussing and all of our cussing, rarely does it work out the way that we want it to. And it usually puts a wedge between us and those who we're arguing and fussing with. So I'm asking you today to have faith enough to leave vengeance to God. Faith enough to believe that He's still in control. Faith enough to believe that He's still a way maker.